I am wondering, what are all of these words? Young, striped, orange, and lazy. Hopefully you guessed that these are adjectives. These are words that describe a noun. And in this example, all of these adjectives are describing, you guessed it, the cat. So with this comma rule, we're going to be looking at what we do when we have adjectives in a sentence. Now, right now, these adjectives are in a sentence with a linking verb. So my linking verb is connecting my noun, cat, to my adjectives, young, striped, orange, and lazy. But this is a very simple sentence structure, and when we're ready for something a bit more sophisticated, we can actually change the order in which our noun and adjectives appear, and we can put our adjectives in front of our noun. And let's take a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to get rid of my linking verb and my period. And I'm going to end up with the young, striped, orange, and lazy cat. But I actually, when I put my adjectives in front of my noun, don't need a coordinate conjunction either. So the little reorganization, I end up with the lazy, young, striped, orange cat. I still have all four adjectives. Now they're in front of my noun. They're describing my noun, so now they're a part of my complete subject. Let's talk about the commas, though. Where are we seeing commas? So I have a comma here, and I have a comma here. Why? Well, when I have more than one adjective in a row in front of a noun, I need to separate those adjectives with commas. So you will notice that I don't use a comma here because the is not an adjective. So I don't need to separate two adjectives. I only have one there, lazy. But I do need a comma here because lazy and young are both adjectives, so I need to separate them. And I do need a comma here because young and striped are both adjectives, so I need to separate them. So why don't I use a comma there? Well, there is one rule breaker to the adjectives rule, and that is if one of the adjectives is a color, like orange is a color, then I don't need to separate those two adjectives with commas. And finally, I don't need a comma here in between orange and cat because orange is a color and cat is a noun. So they are not two adjectives that needed to be separated. Now, why would I want to do this? Why would I want to put my adjectives in front of my noun? Well, the reason that I do this is because then it opens up the rest of my sentence. Now that this is a complete subject, I still have room for a predicate. So I got rid of my linking verb. I don't need it anymore. And I can have my action right here with this sentence. And I can give more in my sentence. And I still have all the adjectives. So I can say the lazy young striped orange cat slept on the couch until noon. I'm going to end with my end punctuation. So now by putting my adjectives in front of my noun and separating them with my commas, I have made room to have a much more interesting and much more complex predicate all in the same sentence. Let's look at one more example. So here in this sentence, I have Anubis is helpful and compassionate. And again, I'm using the linking verb is to combine my adjectives and link them to my noun. So what are my adjectives? You guessed it, helpful is an adjective and compassionate is an adjective. And what is the noun that these adjectives are modifying or describing? That's right, they are both talking about Anubis. So I can take both of these adjectives and I can put them in front of Anubis. And I'm also going to get rid of my linking verb and I'm going to get rid of my conjunction. All I need is my two adjectives and my noun. Let's see what that looks like. So now I have the adjectives helpful and compassionate in front of Anubis. They are describing him, and they are both adjectives. So I need to make sure that in between my two adjectives, I am separating them with a comma. I don't need a comma in between compassionate and Anubis because Anubis is not an adjective. And I've given myself the room in my sentence now that I only have a subject to have another complete predicate that gives more and gives more action. So helpful, compassionate, Anubis is making sure a mummy passes his afterlife test. And that is how you add adjectives to the front of a noun and separate them with commas.